It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Anthony. Konstantine Anthony it is, right?
That's right, correct.
Sure. Well, my name is Aquire, and I'm a proud member of the Netflix board. I kind of am a little confused as to why you guys don't think this is a wonderful idea that we have to, help out Warner Brothers. They're struggling, they have a lot of debt.
Look, if you want to come in and help out, I think that's a great idea. I'd love to work with our entertainment partners. It's just I've heard a lot of concerns in the community that it's not above board. That's all. Specifically the big payouts to the current CEO and the board of Warner Brothers seems a little suspect to me. That's all.
Sure. Well, it was certainly concerning to us that, Warner Brothers got a lot of debt. I never really encouraged them to get with that Discovery company, $10 billion and things like that. That definitely was a concern to us. We've heard in the press that we're going to be taking jobs. And I think people will be working from home with fax machines a little bit more. It's true. And that's kind of where the modern economy is going. People are tired of being in the offices and coming into work and things like that. I don't really think we'll be cutting jobs.
I appreciate you supporting people who want to work from home, but this is a creative industry. Film and television, people like to be on set. They like to get their hands dirty and work with other folks in a collaborative environment. That's really what film and television is all about. So I'm not really in favor of sending people home against their will. But if people want to work from home, I think that's fine. It's just, there's good debt and there's bad debt, right? And when Warner Brothers took on Discovery, we saw it as a big opportunity for them to expand their base. It's just we're worried now that maybe that's not where Netflix may be going.
Hmm. Well, there's also another concern here. The public isn't really going to movies that much anymore, and that's certainly not our fault. They're busy, they don't have time, and they can't afford really to go to take a family out. Could be about $100 to go to the movies today. And so, the truth is that landscape's changing, and movie theaters are struggling.
I understand the economy is rough right now, and it is quite a pretty penny to take your whole family out and go to the theaters. But when we see over, say, Thanksgiving weekend or any holiday weekend, that big spike where people actually do go out to the theaters, we know that families want to experience that joy and laughter and sadness with other families in that theater environment. And so all I have to say is I think the quality of the content has dropped. I think people look at movies now and are very nitpicky because they're not really guaranteed a good time. But a lot of that, I believe, has to do with the way film and television is made these days. Most filmmakers are now beholden to the quarterly profits of their studios rather than simply making original, fun content. I always point out that the best movie of the year, the Oscar winner of 2025, was a completely independent film outside of the studio system. That's where really great movies are being made, and I just wish we could get back to that.
Sure. Well, I definitely think we champion independent filmmakers. But wouldn't you agree that, our bid is much more friendly than another organization that we certainly wouldn't even mention here? We are not trying to take the whole kit and caboodle. We're just happy with a couple of small parts, for an organization that's, having its own problems financially.
Being slightly better than the worst possible offer is probably not something you want to pitch to me personally. So maybe we could ask for something better than second worst, right?
Okay. So let's see. So we agree maybe that the company is definitely struggling and having challenges. That the landscape of the moviegoer is changing as well. And so, what would you propose as a better type of an offer, a better type of a way to help a struggling friend out?
It's important that when your friends are struggling, you do help out. One of the things that I'm so proud of is that the city here in Burbank has been supportive of our media partners, not just Warner Brothers, but all of the studios, all the independent studios, all of the people who work in post and pre production here in the city. We're the ones who have been putting in tax dollars to really support the film and television industry. And beyond that, animation, video games, music, sound, that's where I think the help needs to come from. What we've seen over the years, over the decades, when, you know, angel investors and venture capitalists come in and try to help an industry, it's not exactly the kind of help that people want. Um, we had Toys R Us here in Burbank for a very long time, a huge shop right down the street. And when those venture capitalists came in and bailed out Toys R Us, what they ended up doing was selling off all the assets and dissolving all the pensions. And so I don't know if I'm in favor of that kind of help. I think when we talk about industries that need support, it's stuff that we're doing on the ground. Like here in Burbank, we have done a huge amount of investment in changing our permitting process, allowing films and smaller independent media to do better, to film cheaper, to keep those productions local. That to me is the type of help that the studios and the filmmakers are asking for.
Sure. Isn't it true though, under the current structure of the way that a top-notch filmmaker would approach a Warner Brothers and try to get a deal spotlit, that people are pretty much just focusing on tremendous budgets and tremendous profit as well, and that's part of what's limiting their ability to really move forward and be as flexible with the independent filmmaker?
I absolutely agree. I think that's the inherent problem we have right now in the media industry. Everyone is looking at these giant budgets. They're only trying to work off of their profit margin and profit motive. How can I take a successful IP and maximize 5, 6, 7, 8 films and 2 TV series out of it? I don't think that's the way we should be doing media. For the longest time, Warner Brothers has been in Burbank for 98 years. A lot of film and media have been looking at just the stories. Are the stories compelling? Is this type of storytelling something that someone would want to watch? And if you have that, everything else follows.
Sure. And it seems though that their greatest strengths are, DC and Batman and Barbie. Again, these really big budget films and things like that. We overall are just innocently looking for a place to not only get good stories, but actually to produce stuff. Because as you know, a lot of our content is, bought and kind of put together, but not really produced in the same way the large studios. So we really welcome it as a great opportunity to collaborate with a production house that has the wherewithal to literally put together stronger films.
I mean, I love that idea. Taking the IPs that Netflix has. I mean, Stranger Things is obviously a wonderful piece of programming. And partnering with a legacy studio that has a lot of clout in the theater. Sure. What we've seen, though, and no offense, but the work that you've done is sort of take movies out of the theater and put them on the small screen. And look, like anybody else, I like coming home and watching something great on my TV. Sure. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of a long week, I want to be able to go to the cinema and experience that with other people in the room at a level that you cannot get on your couch at home. And so moving forward, what I personally would like to see is an in-depth investment, not just from these companies, but from the cities and the states that really make these movies to move towards that collaborative experience where people can be together with each other on the big screen watching something magical.
Sure. Well, you made the reference about it being 98 years ago, and you're right. It seemed like when movies came out at that time, they were out for about 98 years, maybe more like 9 months, but today that's a bit shorter. It's the public, to be fair, that isn't going to the theaters after a couple of months.
You know, I will say the public will show up when there's a movie to draw them in. And we've seen that. Sometimes it's a sequel or the seventh iteration of a sequel, or sometimes it's Tom Cruise doing a sequel of a sequel in a part two. But even that will get people out of the house and into the theaters. You know, when you have big productions that use known IP, like something, say, Wicked or Wicked for Good, the sequel, people will show up because they understand that it's going to be a great experience. But you never know what's going to be a hit. You never know what movie is going to resonate with viewers in the moment that it's released. Um, it's such a gamble. But there are people out there, filmmakers and writers and directors and actors, who like to take that risk, who want to test the audience and see, is this thing that I think is great agreed upon with other people that it's also great? I think that is really the crux of what we're talking about with the movie-going experience. Put it out there, let people see it, and they'll tell their friends if it's great or not.
So I had hinted about that earlier, takeover before we even got involved. Keep in mind, and it's quite aggressive, not only financially, but as you saw this week, there were some issues with where the money would come from. I mean, after all, their valuation is not as strong as ours, and so had they been allowed, or had it been the first instinct for the lawyers of the board to say, "Sure, let's go ahead," with them, what kind of pickle would we be in then?
Well, look, I mean, you guys can offer any buyout you want. That's your right. My only issue is nobody asked for this. Nobody on the board, none of the stockholders, none of the employees were saying, "Oh, we got to get Warner Brothers out of debt. We got to sell off the company. We got to figure out what to do." None of that conversation was happening. So it seems to me that it came out of nowhere. And look, I'll be the first to say if Netflix wants to come back to Burbank, because you were here for a little bit and then you left, and we tried to get you back, come on back. We'd love to have you. We don't have to do all of this buyout and offer this and offer that. Just come and talk to us, man. We got plenty of studio space.
Well, we need more in space. We need, assets and things of that nature. That it's a very attractive offer that they've got in terms of some of the things, HBO, and you got Looney Tunes. So, near and dear to my heart, at least my grandkids.
Well, look, you're saying they got good assets, but at the same time, you're talking about them being in debt and needing to be bought off. So, like, for me, I'm trying to square that circle. Either they're in good valuation or they're not, and you're coming in to bail them out. So, I don't know. It seems to me a little deceptive in your approach.
Sure. Well, just lending a helping hand to somebody that's, struggling in quicksand. So that's just, it's what we do. We just try to
Sure.
help out a good neighbor.
I mean, if the guy is falling into quicksand because his pockets are full of gold, I can understand, and you're just trying to help him out and pat him down. But that's neither here nor there. So.
Sure. Absolutely. So what do you think is the best way that we move forward and try to figure it out? It'd be hard to imagine that even if we took our offer off the table, that some other vultures or organizations out there might decide that there's prey out there.
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, we can just go through the regulatory
Mhm.
system. I think there's a lot of eyes on this project that you're proposing, this merger. Um, People are going to weigh in. The regulators are going to weigh in, and we'll see what happens after the dust settles. I wish you the best of luck. Keep making, Stranger Things 6 and 7, whatever you guys want to do. We'll be out there supporting the quality work that we like.
Sure. Doesn't mean we can't remain friends, and I appreciate that offer. I'm gonna take it back to the board. I appreciate your time, young man.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right.
Pleasure.